so many people get caught up in the narrative that, oh, things are crashing, I can't make money. Like in real estate, you can always get a deal. It's not like crypto or stocks where I don't get a better deal than you. We're both looking at the price today and we can choose whether or not we want to buy it. So you got to be really good at timing it if that's what you're going to do. Today, you're not getting any kind of better deal than someone else.
No, you can't call Netflix and say, hey, listen, I'll give you half.
I'll give you half for your stock price.
Right? That doesn't happen. We're in real estate. Your tongue will get you places.
All right, I got my good buddy Jamil back with me. What's up, man?
How you doing, bro? Good to see you.
Bro, so we are here in Miami. It's always great to see you. I was like, dude, it's been about a year now.
Yeah.
I got to get him back on.
Happy to be here, man. Ryan, you and I have known each other before anything really popped for either of us. Mm-hmm. And we've been friends since then. We've watched each other grow, watch our businesses grow. And you've been one of those people that I have looked at and thought, I love it when the good guy wins. Mm. I do, because I know who you are. I know who you are. Like fundamentally, you're a good man. You're a Christian. You're a person of faith. You're a good family man. You're a good dad. You're a good husband. You're all the things that you want to see in a role model for people. And so to see you get to the places that you've gotten to, and I know that you're going so much further, it reassures me that when you put good out into the world, you will receive it. And I'm proud of you, bro. I'm really. It's really fun to watch what's happening.
No, I appreciate that, dude. It means a lot, especially because I had Pace here yesterday, and he was like, Jamil, the reason that it works so good for him and I is he's like, I'm super trusting, but Jamil is such a good judge of character, and he's kind of like that filter for me, because I'll trust anyone.
That's true.
And Jamil, he's like, Jamil will be like, no, dude, like you cannot trust that guy. Like I know exactly how he is and everything. So to hear you just right off the gate instantly say that means a lot.
I mean it. And it's always, and that's, I think, why our friendship has lasted and will continue to grow, because you get that vibe, you get the energy of somebody, and I know one when I see one.
I love it, dude. Yeah. So we got a lot of things that are happening. I mean, number one, you're speaking at the Tyke Summit, so I'm super excited.
I'm excited for it as well.
Yep, happy to have you there.
Coming on as a board member really soon here, so that's amazing.
By the time this launches, you'll probably already be there.
Yep.
So super excited about that. Number two, I mean, last time we talked, you weren't even able to talk about your TV show, but since then, you guys have become number one on A&E.
Yes, sir.
So super exciting for that. Your community with Astro Flipping just continues to grow, and you guys are just crushing it. Keegley continuing to grow, franchise into multiple markets. And dude, I mean, there's a lot going on.
A lot happening. Yeah. It is a blessing. All of it has been a phenomenal ride, and I'm buckled up because it has its moments, right? It's got, like anything else in life, you always know that you're going to have days where it's all so incredible. And then you're going to have moments where you're going to feel overwhelmed. And when you have this much happening and this much success, and I'm sure you can attest to this, there's those days where I wake up and I'm like, I just need a moment. I just need to take a breath. And then, I push through and I get to the end of the day and I think, oh, I'm really happy that I didn't lay down today. I'm really happy that I pushed through, because what an incredible day I had. And so, with all the things that you just mentioned, the TV show has been a phenomenal opportunity for our family, our business, my friendship with Pace, Keegley in general. All of it has just been really fun. Like getting up every day and getting to play with your best friends and family. What could be better, right? Mm-hmm. But beyond that, the impact and watching Keegley explode and seeing, recently I just heard that HomeVestor resold again at a 35x multiple.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And to see a franchise business in the real estate space do that, it's exciting.
That's super exciting for you guys.
Yeah. And so, we're at just around 130 franchises. Okay. We had, we took a couple of them back for performance issues, but ultimately our franchises are really happy and they're doing well. And we're grateful for all of the support and all of the work and effort that they're putting into their businesses. And so watching the brand grow, watching Astro Flipping and all the students, and then their connectivity to the franchises and how that's all playing into each other, you really have an understanding that there is an ecosystem that you can create where one thing will feed the others. And that's what's happening. It's great to watch it all flow in a stream that really feeds itself.
Yeah. I was asking you this last time we were hanging out here in Miami, actually. And, it was like the TV show. I said, how do you feel about it after, doing it for a year and a half, 2 years? Pace shared his thoughts on, everything. Cardone shared his thoughts on, running TV shows. And one thing you said to me was, for me, it's a lot of work, but, the relationships we've made, everything that's come from it has been amazing.
True.
And you guys are now launching season 2, which
Correct.
is going to be premiering. So what are your plans with that? Because I know you're a comedian at heart and you love acting and you love doing that. So
yeah, I think I'm just, going to lean into it, right? Because the beauty of the TV show is that I do get to express in a way that I can't just do on social media. Mm-hmm. And yes, you guys might know me from the Genie ad or some, me wandering around in a forest, floating around like a monk, all the fun stuff that I've done, right? That's all cool, but it's like 30-second or minute-long clips. You don't really get an understanding. You think this guy's either a fool or this guy's kind of cool. Whatever it is, I'm happy that you have an opinion. The other side of that, though, is that you really don't understand much about me, and you can't get that information from a 30 or 60-second ad. Mm-hmm. What you can see in the TV show, and what I can't fake, is my sincerity, my love of real estate, the fact that I really enjoy being in a deal and running the numbers and underwriting and being a part of the hunt and being a part of watching something go from a derelict house to an incredible work of art. Mm-hmm. I mean, there is a level of pride that you can hold in a job well done. And I can't say that there's anything in my life that allows me to visually see that other than the TV show. So for that, I'm so grateful.
Yeah, no, it's great, dude. I think for a lot of people who are watching this or listening, at the end of the day, it just matters about attention, right? Like, how do you go about getting exposure and attention? And I think there's a number of ways to do that. TV happens to be one that's super hard to get onto.
Correct.
So, however many years you end up doing it, it's like, man, you just got to make the most of it.
Yeah, you're a tumbleweed in that moment, right? And you're just gathering more. You're just gathering more twigs and gathering more, all the things. And I've been able to strike a friendship with Tariq El Moussa in the process. And actually, him and I got to become friends not because of TV, but just because of my ads. He actually reached out to me on Instagram and said, "Bro, I love your ads." And it was before he even knew I had a show, right? And so we connected on that, and since then have become friends. And this is a man who's done 11 seasons of Flip or Flop. He's got 2 shows. And mind you guys, part of the 11 seasons was with his ex-wife.
Yeah, they just kept filming.
They kept filming. And imagine the pressure and stress that one would go through going through a breakup and then having to professionally work together in that environment. And that when you're on a set like that, it's hours and hours and hours of, resetting and shooting and, breaking and lunch and the interview scenes and all of the things that goes into it. It's a lot. Mm-hmm. And so for him to have gone through 11 seasons of that, and then now he's on 2 new shows. He's doing Flipping 101 and then Flipping El Moussa's. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it, but Flipping El Moussa's with him and Heather. I mean, it's phenomenal, right? And, he has shown me, like a big brother would, what the path of television leads to. And it's exciting.
Yeah.
It can get very lucrative.
How so for you? Like, what would a path end up being like? You're like 2 years into this now.
Yeah, I'm 2 years into it. And of course, at 2 years into a reality TV show, they're not writing you checks, not good ones.
You got to prove yourself.
You got to prove yourself. You got to bring numbers. You got to do the things. But when it comes, in terms of just social credibility and being an authority in the space of real estate, when somebody clicks on my ad and they're like, okay, who's this dude? And they Google me. They're like, oh, he's got a television show on A&E. Okay, cool. Well, let me watch an episode of that. And then they do. And they're like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. Hey, let me go watch this VSL that he did about real estate. Mm-hmm. Okay, I really do believe in this guy now. Let me Google his company. Oh, wow, they're nationally franchised. I think I can trust him.
Right.
And then they become a family member. They become part of the community.
Right.
And that to me, it's like the whole puzzle piece, right? Because they got all of the things that they need to make a decision on whether or not they like me, trust me and want to know me more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it makes 100%. I've said that all the time with social media, because most people obviously will never have a TV show, but we can all start making content.
Agreed.
And no matter what your business is, if you have some kind of content out there for people to see, you're going to be able to allow them to get to know you from whatever it is that first attracts them. If you just have a paid ad, a Genie commercial, or anything, they just hear about you. You know, the fact that they can Google you and see content about you is going to make the sale and them want to work with you that much better. So I think everybody needs to take the same principle of just get out there in some way or another. It doesn't matter if you're in real estate, if you're a plumber, if you're a roofer, everyone needs to get out there.
I think it's so important in this age right now where you have literally at your fingertips free opportunities to promote, free opportunities to share. If you're not doing it, one of two things, okay? You don't believe in yourself, or you're so crippled by the fear of judgment that it is going to destroy your dreams. Neither of those two things lead to anything good.
Yeah.
Okay, they don't. Fulfillment comes from being able to show somebody a path to success or show somebody a thing not to do. But you feel fulfilled anytime you're able to help another human being navigate life. And regardless of what your business is, when you can connect with people and resonate with them in a way that moves them, it's important that you do it.
Yeah.
And I think anybody watching right now, you know, you've watched Ryan, you've seen what he's been able to accomplish in his journey of sharing. But, you know, just think about how if you hadn't come across his content, you know, if you've taken action on any of his information, his courses, or anything, any of his businesses that he's involved in, you have seen a change in your life. Imagine if you hadn't done that. That's the piece. That's the part where I want people to think. Like, if Ryan didn't turn the camera on and get loud, where would I be? Mm-hmm. You have the exact same potential.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. So at this point, I mean, what are some of your goals? I mean, like, you guys started out with just this business, this Keegley business, and all of a sudden you guys start doing a lot of deals. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was sometimes 100 deals a month, right?
Yep.
And then you go recreate your systems into a franchise and everything else. Like, a lot of people are trying to figure out, hey, what's up with this real estate market? What are you guys telling your franchisees right now? How do you navigate this?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think the beautiful thing about wholesaling is that you don't expose yourself to tremendous loss when the market shifts.
Yeah.
And yeah, things slow down. Like, we had a couple of months there where our volume wasn't where it would normally be, but it bounced back. And it's bounced back in a way right now that, you know, we might not have the same number of deals, but our deals are bigger right now. And because our deals are bigger, because we're buying deeper right now, actually, we're doing better than we would have a few months prior to the market shifting. And I know that people might be looking at it and be like, wow, really? A wholesale business doing better than where it was? That's actually what you can do right now by taking advantage of the buying opportunities that exist out there. And we're really doubling down on that messaging with our franchises, because I'm literally watching sellers right now listed on the MLS take half. Half. So think of that, right? It used to be this model where if you wanted to get a wholesale deal, the best way to do it was to go off market. And the reason for that is you would maybe catch somebody who wanted to trade some equity for speed or convenience, or maybe they weren't, you know, all too understanding of what they had, or maybe they just were unsophisticated. Whatever the reason that people went off market, it was never my model. So I don't really know what drove people to off market real estate opportunities. I've always worked with agents and referrals and wholesalers and on market deals. But right now, if a seller has looking at the market as it is, interest rates are high, demand is plummeted, but you have to sell. You have to, for whatever the life reason is.
Right.
Relocation, health, a death, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. You will take what a willing buyer will give you right now. And if that's half, it's half. And that's the piece right now that I think if you're in real estate you've got to be looking at these opportunities online. You've got to be going to the MLS and saying, if something's sitting here 30, 60, 90 days on market, first of all, why? Second of all, are they really motivated? Let's look at the listing history and see if there's been dramatic price drops. Let's look at the language in the listing and see, is the agent showing us any signs of motivation in the description? And then have a conversation with the person, find alignment with the realtor, and shoot your shot.
Yeah. I think so many people get caught up in the narrative that, oh, things are crashing, I can't make money. And it's like, no, dude.
No.
Like in real estate, you can always get a deal.
Of
It's
course.
not like crypto or stocks where you don't really get a deal. I don't get a better deal than you.
Right.
We're both looking at the price today and we can choose whether or not we want to buy it.
Right.
So you got to be really good at timing it if that's what you're going to do. Or you're just saying, hey, I'm a long-term holder. I believe Apple and Netflix are going to be fine for the long haul, which you're probably right. But today, you're not getting any kind of better deal than someone else.
No, you can't call Netflix and say, hey, listen, I'll give you half.
I'll give you half for your stock price.
Right? That doesn't happen because you're not dealing with emotions. You're dealing with publicly traded companies. You're dealing with shareholders. You're dealing with all of the regulations and all of the things that keep it standardized and level for everybody. Where in real estate, your tongue will get you places.
Yeah.
And how you speak.
Well, and you can just go hunt for whatever you want.
Yeah.
There's deals everywhere.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, for me anyways, they're like, are you going to still buy real estate? I'm like, yeah, it doesn't matter what's happening. It's just my buy box changes.
Right.
Right. So yeah, the last couple of years, I was willing to buy very thin because I knew prices were going up. I knew it was going to be good. Today, I don't know where prices are going to go, right? They could flatline. They could stop. I mean, they could reverse interest rates tomorrow and, we could go back up. I don't know. But I do know I can get way better deals today than I could, 6 months ago.
Right. I mean, I've seen some pricing and some sellers accept pricing that reminds me of 2016, 2017 numbers. And I mean, you ask anybody in real estate if one thing that they wish they had is a time machine.
Yeah.
A recession, an engineered stall is what I think this really is in the real estate game.
Right.
But an engineered stall, this is your time machine. Yo, get in the DeLorean and go get your deal because you won't find numbers like this again.
Right. Yeah, I mean, once they start lowering rates again at some point and, all of this passes through, it's just going to do what it's always done.
Right. And look at the other part, right? So what does a crash require? It's just a fundamental bottoming out where everyone's just like, F it, I'm out. We're done. What we saw in the real estate market in 2008 was exactly that. We saw a lot of fraud. We saw a lot of people who shouldn't have owned 8 houses owning 8 houses, right? And so when that happens, of course, you're going to get a massive inventory spike. You're going to get all of this elasticity and people aren't sure of what's happening. And then, you get defaults. You get people walking away. But looking at just, for instance, the microcosm of Phoenix, Arizona, okay? 2008, when the market crashed, we had near 70,000 listings on the MLS. Today, we have 18,000.
It's crazy.
And it was 20,000 last month. So we're trending down, right? So when you think about that, and this is a tough market, when the market doesn't have the inventory that is going to create a crash, it can't happen.
It's literally impossible.
It's literally impossible.
Yeah.
So all the folks that have the fear, I think what they're doing is they're truly buying into inaction. And what they want to do is they want to have a reason to sit still again.
Well, people want to make basically indecision seem like, oh, I'm just smart.
Yeah.
When it's like, no, you're just scared.
Yeah, you're making indecision a decision.
Real quick, if you haven't heard, my book, The Wealthy Way, is coming out December 13th. I have been working on this book for years and I'm super excited about it. And I want to have a massive launch. I'm going to need your help. So here's what we are going to do. You can actually pre-order the book on Amazon right now on the Kindle version. And the best part is that Kindle version is only going to be 99 cents. Now this book is a lot more valuable than 99 cents, but I want to get it in everyone's hands. So you can support by ordering it there right now. Now on December 13th, you can get access to the paperback, you can get access to the Audible and all that good stuff. But that's not all we're doing. If you want to really support and leave a review for the book, I'm actually going to be giving away a free course that I created called Business Builder Academy. This is teaching everyone how to start a business from start to scratch, how to figure out your branding, your products, sales, marketing, everything that I've done to start up all of my businesses. I've put into this academy, and I'm gonna give it to you completely free as long as you leave a review on Amazon. So think about it. You can go buy the book for $1, leave a review, and get a course worth thousands. So if you want to support and you want to get access to that, go to wealthywaybook.com, okay? wealthywaybook.com. You'll be able to go pre-order it. You'll be able to submit proof of your review, and you're gonna get access to that course. So I appreciate all you guys. Let's have a huge launch for this book and change some lives.
Yeah, I think, we're both on the same page with real estate.
Yeah.
It's like, we're not going to shut our businesses down because things are slow now. It's just like, hey, this is the time to reset what you're doing. Like for us, we don't wholesale exclusively. So we got flips that we bought that are going to be bad deals. And it just is what it is. Like, the last 2 years, we bought a lot of flips that ended up being okay deals into amazing deals. Right? So
you built cushion then.
Yeah, you can't just have only good.
Right. You're a baseball player. You can't bat 1,000.
Yeah, you can't bat 1,000, and you can't just get a bunch of lucky hits that we've been getting over the last couple of years.
Yeah, you're gonna strike out. It's gonna happen.
Or worse, not even worse, but you're gonna hit it freaking perfect, and a guy's gonna just make a great play, and there's nothing you can do.
Right.
But tell me a little bit about just the franchise. Like, I'm curious, as somebody who's going to be, like my goal this coming year is to acquire a lot of businesses, and I don't plan to like franchise or anything, but maybe one day it's on the horizon. Like for somebody who's thinking about buying a franchise, doesn't have to be yours specifically, but just a lot of people here, I've talked about Houston's Hot Chicken franchise, who my buddy owns it. I think they're a great franchise to buy.
Yeah.
Like, what are some things people should know before buying a franchise?
I think, first of all, do you believe in the fundamentals of the business, right? For instance, I might not buy hot chicken because I don't like hot chicken. I like fried chicken, but I don't necessarily like hot chicken. I'd buy a Wingstop because I love chicken wings.
Yeah.
Right? So I believe in the product. Secondly, have they done something that is fundamentally different and does it work, right? So you look at them, you look at the success. And are they front running? Are they doing something that's just dramatically different from the rest of the marketplace? And I think, again, you look at something like Wingstop, and they have. I don't see a competitor in their space that has branded themselves as well as they have and has an offering as...
Yeah, I don't know if any like franchise chicken wings. Like, I don't even know if Buffalo Wild Wings is a franchise. Or
it's more like a sit-down restaurant. Where like Wingstop, you don't go in and sit down. You know what I mean?
You just get your stuff
and you bounce, right? Or you get it delivered. So I love what they've done. And so the thing about a franchise that really appeals to me is that somebody went through the heavy lifting for you, right? They made the mistakes. They trial and errored. They lost money. They spent money on R&D. They did the things that necessarily successful businesses have to do in order to succeed and to get there. And that costs a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of money. And if you are not interested in doing all of that, but you want to step into something that's ready-made, that can be very lucrative and allow you to express in an industry that you're truly passionate about, I think a franchise is an incredible opportunity, regardless of the industry, right? So is a Keegley franchise awesome? Yes, because I love real estate. I would, if I was not the founder or one of the founders of the company and I saw this opportunity to jump into wholesale, because look, wholesaling is not easy. If any of you guys have tried to do it and failed, you'll understand that. Most people who get into wholesale quit.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you see that that's the end result for the majority of people who get into it, then there's got to be a better way.
Yeah. And I think as somebody who started a lot of businesses, starting a business is really hard. Yeah. It's unproven. Nobody knows the brand. You don't have any systems and processes. Even if you have a great coach or mentor, you still have no proven track record of what you're about to do. Right. True. I think on the other hand, if you have the capital, going straight into buying an established franchise gives you the highest chance of success, right?
I agree.
Because you have proven everything, you have brand equity, you have support behind you to make sure the franchise succeeds. Like, they're invested in it just as much as you are, right? Because if you screw up their brand, they ain't going to be happy.
No, not at all. In fact, you pay even more attention to what's going on in individual offices because it is there is a dramatic impact to the business when one of the operators is off culture or isn't doing it the way that you would do it, right? And so, yeah, you're 1,000% right.
Yeah, I remember watching The Founder, one of my favorite movies ever. And he's opening up these McDonald's all over the country, and like one of them's like selling chicken sandwiches and tacos and random things. He's like, dude,
what are you doing?
This is not what we do.
Yeah.
And it's just true. Like, if you're with a real franchise, they are not going to let you do the things that would hurt the overall brand because they know what works.
Right.
So with franchising as a whole, I mean, would somebody who buys, let's just say a Keegley franchise, would they have to be the ones who are going to operate it? Like, it's not going to be a passive investment like some of these guys maybe say.
Yeah, not necessarily, because we have multiple franchises where there is a money partner and then an operator.
Okay.
And so it happens quite often, actually, where somebody says, you know what, I believe in the brand, I believe in these people, I believe in what they're doing, but I don't have the time, and I'm really invested in my own life and my own business right now, but I do have the money for the franchise fee, and I think you'd be an amazing operator. So let's partner together and I'll fund your deal. And it's happening all the time. So yeah, it happens, and we encourage it if people want to have that structure. In fact, we've got operators right now that want more units, that would love to, bring on a partner and say, hey, come in and partner with me, and I'll open up another location. And some franchises are just doubling down and buying multiple units themselves, and others are going out and raising capital and bringing in financial partners to own multiple units. I think that shows a lot of buy-in, and because franchises are really difficult legality wise, I can't really get into the successes and whatnot of how people are doing. But what I can say is that when you see somebody come back for seconds, the dish the first time probably tasted pretty good.
Yeah.
Right.
So for you guys as the franchise owners, what do you like? What's the end goal? Like, how many do you guys want to open up?
Yeah.
Is there plans to exit? How's that all playing out?
Well, there is a cap on our FDD. So it's 660 franchise units can be sold. And, we're maybe 5 years away from that. So there's no, I know we'll hit it, and it could be sooner, with the TV show and the way it's going, maybe it's 3 years, maybe it's 4. But let's just say it takes 5 based off of our track record and our performance to date. So 5 years from now, what does it look like? Well, we've had conversations about an exit. At the same time, we really care about the culture, the people, and the people that invested in the business. And many of them invested in me. Mm-hmm. Many of them invested in the brand that I've been able to bring to the Keegley franchise and just name by being who I am. And that's really important for me to preserve, and really important for Josiah and Hunter and Rahima. They all want to see the culture of Keegley remain the same. Mm-hmm. And so, an exit may not be the best strategy for us. Maybe going public could be a strategy.
I was going to say, have you thought about that?
That would probably be the more likely opportunity for us.
How would that affect franchisees if you were to go public?
I think obviously you bring in shareholders and there's more decision makers in the process, but ultimately, if you choose a good board and if things happen and go around the way that you want it to go, I think it's helpful. I think it's helpful to everybody because you've got more liquidity, you've got more opportunity to just gain more exposure and do bigger things. And so I think that ultimately, when you have access to more capital and you're doing more, there's no way that doesn't benefit everyone. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah. No, I think that's a great idea, especially to stay with the business.
Yeah. It's my baby, man. It's like, for me, it's like that almost feels like, hey, man, so, once your kid becomes 18 years old, you can cut them off and walk away. And I get I've seen some parents do that, right? And it's like, they may not be super happy with that decision, right? And so I'm the kind of parent that says, hey, I want to be in the life of my child or my baby forever, right? And so I really feel like that about Keegley. Like, the way that this thing became what it is, it's near and dear to me because it was a part of me.
Yeah.
And so I want to run it through. I want to be with it until my batteries run out.
So speaking of kids and family, how is that running, so many things? People ask me this all the time. They're like, dude, I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
Right? How do you make content, run businesses, do all the things you're doing? How do you do it?
Well, I have an incredible wife, man. Like, I could just cry right now thinking about how wonderful of a woman she is. She has my back all the time. And the thing is that in a life like this, where you've got a lot of attention and a lot of things coming at you, and you're always traveling, or you're here or you're there, and there's just so many things pulling you away from your home, that you have to have a solid individual at home in order to operate at 100% out there in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could not be Jamil and worry about my wife might not be at my house when I come home.
Right.
Right? Like I could never operate like that. Because honestly, dude, if I had to make the choice, I'm picking her.
Yeah.
Right? I'm picking home, I'm picking her, I'm picking kids.
Yep.
And so when that is how I feel, and she knows that, right? And my kids know that, they've been very, very fair with me and letting me just go out there and build this, and supportive. Like, I have so much love from my family, and my wife, she never gives me a hard time. And sometimes, I almost feel like she could give me a harder time, right? But she so wants to see me realize this dream. She wants to see me realize my full potential as a man, as a provider, as a business owner, an entrepreneur, that goal of mine is a part of her DNA. And it's incredible, man. It's an incredible feeling.
Yeah. Speaking of provider, I think you were telling me, and Pace might have told me too, that you just bought a beach house.
Yeah.
Where's it at?
Right in Marina del Rey on the water. Incredible place. I'll give you the keys anytime you want to go and visit.
All right. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
So at this event, right, we're here with Cardone, a lot of big players in the room and everyone else. I can't help but be here and think about all the things I want to do when I get back. What are you taking back from here?
Man, that's a great question. Every time I'm around Grant, my mind expands, because you really watch a guy who moves around in life without limits. Every time you hear somebody throw a number out at him, it's like, it almost irritates him that it's so small, right? And it's like, you could say $1 billion, he'll say, why not 10 billion? And it's, if that's how he is, and you see that this is who the man is, right? Then I understand that 10X for him wasn't a gimmick.
No.
It's actually his hardwire. It's who he is. And so it makes me want to think bigger. It makes me want to be bigger in life. And even though our lives are big right now, we see a giant like Grant in the world moving and operating at a high level with integrity and doing a great job of it. And his family is intact and his health is intact. When you see a man accomplish that, it shows you that you don't have to settle. You don't have to settle for a subpar family. You don't have to settle for a subpar health. You don't have to settle for a subpar business. You can have it all. And I think what I'm really taking away from this is that I'm still got to double down. I've lost 43 pounds in the last few months.
I can see it, dude. You look great.
I'm working on it. I'm obviously I got a long way to go still. I'm still trying to lose weight.
But isn't part of that TV? You can't lose the weight.
Well, part of that was the fact that I stayed plump as long as I did. I had to for my contract.
Yeah.
But in the off season right now, I'm allowed to, get as different looking as I possibly can in the time, right? And so I intend to lose 30 pounds between now and when we start filming again. And I will probably look different in season 3 than I'll look in season 2. And I probably will look a little different at the end of the episode on every one of the episodes, because I had lost some weight throughout, right? But the fact is that I am really taking away from this just how you can be well-rounded, how you can go all out in all aspects of life and succeed at it. And so, I leave here wanting to do more in my businesses. And, because what we're doing right now at this launch that Grant's putting together, this unbreakable challenge that he's got, it's really important.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole concept that the next year is going to be a painful year for a lot of people, it's real.
Oh, yeah.
It's real. And so I'm grateful to be in the conversation. I'm grateful to be able to be a part of what you're going to be doing and what Pace is going to do, and Cody and the rest of us as being a part of this conglomerate that's going to help people recession proof themselves and make themselves unbreakable. I mean, that's big, right? Yeah, it's just, you can have it all and you really can have it all and help people at the same time.
Yeah, that's the whole point of The Wealthy Way and why I created it and why I wrote the book and everything else. Is like, I've just seen too many people over the years think that you have to sacrifice in order to have success. And the part that doesn't really make sense to me is most people think at some point in the journey, you have to like forget everything, right? So whether, for most people, they think it's the beginning. They're like, oh, well, in the beginning though, you have to kind of like push everything away and focus only on business. And at some arbitrary random point, it just stops. And now you can have balance.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you're somehow going to just turn the switch.
Yeah.
And by the way, by having a lot more success, you suddenly don't have more problems and more responsibility and more things to do. And, you know, to your point, you see like Grant, it's like, you don't think running his company and having billions of real estate and all these students and stuff, like he's got a lot of things on his plate. But like you said, you know, his family's there. You see the life he's living. It's like, I'm pretty sure he's been living that way for a while now. And it's led to the success. It's not, he has success, now therefore you can do this.
Right.
And I've said that forever with The Wealthy Way. I'm like, guys, when I was flipping couches, when I was playing baseball, when I was just flipping a few houses, to when I'm doing it now, my life's been the same. Like I don't work weekends. I just have not for like as long as I can remember. The only time I worked weekends is when I played baseball because I had to.
Right.
The game's on the weekends.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But then I get 6 months off and I can do whatever I want. But most people just kind of don't believe it. They think that you have to have success first before you can quote unquote have like retirement or whatever it is that's going to allow you to have free time now. It doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't. In fact, like you had just said, the magical arbitrary point where things sort of balance out for you or where you get enough time to balance out, that doesn't exist. And I think that the reason why people believe that is because they haven't walked the journey. They haven't seen it. But then there's people like yourself, people like myself, people like Grant, people like Pace that are honest and transparent about the journey. And when we stumble and fall, we'll talk about it. You know, let's also say, like, have I had moments where I could have been a more present husband?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Have we had moments where I could have been a better dad and a more present father? Absolutely. But am I going to focus on the fact that I could have been better and wallow in that? Or am I going to be better? That's the thing, right? And so if you're watching this again and your heart says, maybe later, no, it's now.
Yeah, totally agree. I think a lot of it is just excuses. And like I even have said, even on the real estate side, people who have not been taking action have said, well, the market's too hot. I don't want to do this, right? And then, okay, here it is. The market's less hot. And they're like, well, the market's too cold now.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. I'm like, so you're waiting for like that perfect moment when the market's just right.
Right.
And, you know, I don't even know what that is.
Right.
Like, what does that even mean? But even if it were there, how long is it going to be there? You're only a fair weather investor.
That's it.
Or fair weather businessman.
It's the person who buys the gym membership on January 1st. And by, the end of January, it's over. It's that person who always folds on themselves that puts themselves in that situation.
Well, you're big into mindset. How do you get over that if you're that person? Like, how do you develop the confidence to go succeed? How do you develop the discipline to go do that? Maybe you've never had true discipline. Maybe you don't deserve to really have confidence because you haven't done things that would bring you confidence. Like, it's that kind of chicken and the egg thing of like, I have so much confidence because of the things I've done, but I've only been able to do the things I've done because I have confidence.
Right.
So how do you break through?
Well, you and I are different, right? Like you're a handsome guy, you're physically great shape, you've got a lot going for you. I think naturally you came out a cooler egg than I did, right? and that's fine, you know. Like I love you, and I think that's great, and I'm happy to know you and all the things. I had not necessarily had those, you know. Genetically, I'm predisposed to be chubby, right? I have had little man syndrome for a long time in my life, where I felt unconfident, and I felt like I had to prove myself, and I had to like overcompensate a lot. And I've had moments where I wasn't disciplined. I've shared in the past that, I struggled with alcoholism in the past, and that was tough for me, right? And so when that is a reality in your life and things aren't perfect, okay, so they're not perfect, but they'll never be perfect unless you start doing things to change it, right? You've got to take baby steps. You got to do one little thing. And I learned that when you do one little thing and you do it over and over and over again, then that becomes a part of who you are. Then you can add another little thing and you do it over and over again. And then you add another little thing and you do it over and over again. And what ends up happening is you create this chain of consistency that turns you into a Ryan Pineda or a Jamil or a Pace, because you get the things that make you better. And as you gain that little baby step of continuity in your life, that consistency of showing up for yourself just in this one little way, and all the other ways cannot matter right now, but I'm going to show up for myself in this way today. And then that happens, and it happens consistency for a time. And now this just becomes a part of who you are. Right. And then now you don't even have to question if you're going to do that anymore, because it's what you do. Right. So then now you have space to add to that. Yeah. And I think that's how people grow. I think that's how people develop.
I agree. I give you my observation as somebody who, to your point, I was born with a lot of skills that many people didn't have, right? Like, I was always a very confident person going into things because maybe I was just better athletically or whatever the case was. I'm like, dude, I'm going to dominate this. I always do. We're good. And to a degree, that kind of was my path for a while until you finally get smacked, right? And for me, I got smacked going into pro baseball, where, you go through high school, you're the man. You go through college, you're the man. You get into the pros, and you're like, damn, everyone's the man. Yeah. In fact, I'm the smallest guy on the team now. Yeah. Right. All these guys are 6'5", they're big. I'm 5'10", like literally the smallest guy on the team. You go from being the big dog to the small dog. Right. And you go from having to fight for playing time to having other guys who literally have nothing to lose. Like, these guys are coming from the Dominican, they're coming from Latin America with no money, nothing. And if they don't make it, their life,
it's over.
It's done.
It's life or death.
Right. And so I really got smacked in the face during that time. And like, I went from being a cocky, arrogant guy to like, man, dude, I've really been humbled. And like, I already know, like, I have glimpses of arrogance and things coming back out where I'm like, dude, yeah, check yourself, because you are not the biggest, baddest dude like that you may think you are in this very moment. But what I will say is, confidence, when used properly, not arrogance, not cockiness, but like belief in what you are doing, that you are going to succeed, that despite all the odds, despite the market, despite your lack of knowledge or expertise in something you're getting into, you're going to succeed. Like, that takes blind faith, that takes confidence. So anybody who tries to say, well, I'm going to just be humble and whatever, like, no. Inwardly, whether you say it or not, you have to have confidence that you're going to win. And I think that it all starts from within, right? Like, you have to have belief in yourself and what you are doing to do it right and to succeed. Because the reality is, the odds of success are extremely low in everything we do. When you started Keegley, the odds of you succeeding were like infinitely low. But you went into it like, hey, knowing that it's still low, I'm going to still do it.
Yes, sir.
And I believe we're going to do great. The odds of you getting a TV show,
even lower,
extremely low. Yeah. But you're like, look, I believe in myself. I believe I have the talent for TV. I'm going to do it. You should not believe that, by the way.
Yeah.
But we do it.
It's magical thinking.
Yeah. And I think you just have to believe things that nobody else believes. That is the only way you can really start to do amazing things. Because if you just look at the statistics or you look at what other people do and your friends and your family and everyone else, you would be like, yeah, there's no way I can do this.
Right. You're absolutely right. I also think though that, you know, you're a man of faith, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I believe fundamentally that we're all connected. Every one of us has a connection to our creator and to each other. And if you really want something, and if that desire has good intent behind it, and you pursue it and pursue it and pursue it and pursue it, and you collaborate with a higher power, with your creator.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, some people might look at that and say, Jamil, I'm not here for that. And that's okay if that's not for you. Even if that higher power is a higher version of yourself, whatever that is, right? I think that when you collaborate with that source, that energy, I think that mountains move. I think that the impossible becomes possible. I think all of the things that bro, the moon pulls the ocean onto the earth. You know, like, look at what can happen out there. Just look at it. And we know fundamentally in science, like, we're not even solid.
Yeah.
Like, that's a thing. Right. And to think about that, to actually, like, guys, and what I just said isn't crazy, right? You think I'm solid. I think I'm solid. You think you're solid, but we're not. So when you look at the fact that not everything is what it seems,
mm-hmm.
you really get an understanding that, and on an energetic, spiritual way, that you can accomplish way more than the physical limits of this shouldn't be,
mm-hmm.
or this is too hard, or
mm-hmm.
the likelihood of. I think that your spiritual limits are where you will give yourself free reign to just be the best. And you can walk into that.
Yeah. With me, what I have realized is when I'm just reliant on me, it's very hard to do, because I am what I am. I'm a man who struggles with a lot of different things. I have my own limitations, my own self-limiting beliefs. I have my own, things that I struggle with. But I know when I have my faith, and when I know that I feel God's calling me to do something, that gives me a totally different set of confidence that I could not muster on my own.
Amen.
You cannot manufacture that kind of confidence.
Agreed.
And so anything I've ever felt like God was calling me to do, despite all the odds, despite what was happening, and I've gone into it just like with obedience and like blind faith, it's always worked out every time.
That's it.
And the things that I've done should not have been done, but when you have, the power of God behind what you're doing, it's not really fair.
But we all have that. I think that's the thing, right? Every one of us has a purpose in life. Every one of us has a calling. Every one of us is connected to our creator.
Right.
And many of us have just allowed other people's opinions of who we are to become the reality of what we are. But when you strip away all the stuff, all the things that your parents told you that you couldn't do, all of the things that the people around you said were impossible, when you strip all the negativity and you strip all of the dullness, the killing of your dreams, all of the things that told you no, when you strip it all away, fundamentally, there's still a dreamer there. There's still somebody with a wide open heart and a blue sea of opportunity. And when that is where you're connecting to on a daily basis, brother, there's nothing you can't accomplish.
Yeah. No, I agree 1,000%. So, for anyone listening right now, I would just say, in order to do big things and in order to have success and get away from inaction, number one, it starts from within.
Yes, sir.
Spiritually, belief in yourself. And if you don't have that, nothing will happen on the outside.
100%.
You're not making any moves.
Yes, sir.
Right? But what you see too is once you take that first step and that belief, and you go and start taking action, to your point, you start getting a little win here, a little win there. You're not getting big wins, right? You're not having a viral video or getting a deal right off the bat, right? But you're getting a little win. You talked to a seller. You made a video and released it. You registered the LLC. Like, you took a little step. Now you got to take the second step, right? You can't just stay in this zone of whatever it is. Like, you got to keep getting to the next level. And sure enough, the more success you have, the more confident you grow, which allows you to take more action, do more things. Like I know for me at this point, the fact that I've started so many successful businesses now gives me the confidence to go and start another one that may have nothing to do with what I've done to this point.
Yeah.
Could be a different industry, could be a different, thing. And I'm like, I'm going to crush it just because I have faith in what I'm doing, and your confidence just grows over time. And I think it kind of sucks that it's like this momentum building thing, because it's like starting is so hard. When you're just starting here, you're like, man, am I even moving? Like, am I making any progress at all? And then over time, it starts to compound and you're like, whoa, I'm making progress. And that's what I've noticed in my life is like, I've seen it now with hindsight of like, dude, making videos every day for the last 2.5 years, starting to really create some cool stuff.
It does.
It wasn't doing that when I first started.
Right, but collaborating as well. Like you said the word momentum, and I want to highlight this fact because I'm a science nerd, and I like looking at the physics of things. And I learned in physics that the formula of momentum, P equals mv, okay? Momentum equals mass times velocity. Okay? So in order to gain momentum, one of two things has to increase, or both things have to increase. The mass of the work that you're doing, the mass of the thing, or the velocity, the speed in which you do it. See, when you came out fast, bro. Like you came out with an acceleration or a speed that I think was unmatched. You were a meteor, right? And I was just like, wow, look at Ryan go, Add to that mass, squatting up with people, right? How does Ryan become more massful or heavier? You gotta be like you, dude.
Well,
yeah, you connect with high heavyweights, right?
Yeah.
And then look at what you did. I saw you on other podcasts and other channels and doing other things with other influential people that had huge followings. And then all of a sudden, Ryan's momentum grows even further. And guys, it doesn't you can look at physics formulas and apply that to life in so many ways. You don't have to overcomplicate it. Momentum is mass and velocity. Find people to squat up with to increase your mass and figure out how to go fast, and you'll get momentum.
I love that, bro. Well, dude, it's always great hanging out with you, man. I love the mind. I'm hyped up to get massive now.
Let's go.
I'm already quick. I'm moving.
You are.
But I need to get some of that weight on.
There you go, right? And it's like when you start thinking of it in that way, didn't it kind of flick a switch in your head?
I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, bro, I love you.
Love you back.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Guys, go follow Jamil. We'll link to all his stuff down below. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed that podcast. Thanks for making it to the end. The good news is I've got another one that I know you're gonna like, and all you gotta do is click it right here. Linking it right here. All you gotta do is just click it, and you're gonna see this new episode that you're gonna love.